How do everyone? Welcome back to the Potty Garden Show. Yes, Garden Show, Garden Club. Hello. As you can see, we've lost JB and we've lost Jesse, but we've gained Mark again. Mark, how are you doing?
Back, all right.
Who needs Jesse and JB?
It's super sub.
Well, I know JB said it, and it was just today. He says, I've just realised because he's been on his happy holes, but he's back. But he had like on these power-hungry kind of crucial meetings, and you kind of go there, Mark, you know that kind of. So he says, I just can't get out of it. We've been planning it. Oh. So I says, all right. Then Jesse, actually Jesse was the day before. Jesse is at BBC Gardener's World, like the live garden show. She's helping Hannah set up. You know what I mean? So I was like, and I was, trying to get, I was that would be great if we can maybe get, like our live correspondent from the BBC, you know what I mean? But she says they're at Birmingham studios or Birmingham somewhere in Birmingham. And she says it's 3G. Everything's 3G.
Goodness me. So, back in time.
Terrible. That's back in bloody terrible time. So Mark, and big, because you just got the text today early on there. And I was thinking, but thank you for coming on again.
More than welcome.
Audrey.
Yes.
So you saw Audrey's there. See, the kids, Audrey, they don't even know they're born. You've got to turn up for a job and you got to stick with it.
You know yes.
You know what I mean?
Doggone it, my word is my bond.
These puppies just taking time off, weeks off, left, right, and centre.
Yes.
Have you done any gardening, Audrey? Have you done? Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Oh. I can see lights. in the background switched on.
Yeah, my husband put those on this morning. I'm not quite sure why, but he did.
Well, all right.
I said, what are you doing? Lighting up like the room? I don't know.
So there's nothing
No, there's nothing under there.
Right.
Yeah.
Burning the midnight oil there.
The paperwork that was on my desk actually is under there.
Right. Oh.
So I don't want that growing.
What we've been up to then since the last week?
Weeding. Our weeds we've had a lot of rain.
Right.
Oh my gosh, the weeds were like 2 feet tall. And they went from nothing to I couldn't even see what we'd planted.
It's funny, I've never heard you or you even mention weeds before. Even Mark saying, you know what I mean? I always thought you your soil is so like cultivated and looked after that the seeds have all gone up.
Well, this is like our back 40, which is more we're starting to amend it a lot more, but it's not like my raised beds.
Right.
And it was growing thistle and those really prickly things, and I couldn't even see part of Bug Ben anymore because it had grown. I thought, what happened? But we'd had lots of rain.
So is this like a case of you just dig them out, or is it a case of let's just weed kill a lot? No one.
I don't weed kill because I'm gonna put another plant right in its place. Yeah,
I've seen the chemical bottles in your videos.
I haven't seen no weed killer
because it's a hard task to get bloody like.
It is. It is
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a couple days of weeding.
Thistleweeds, mind you. I didn't realize how big their taproots are.
And they have the taproot that goes on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was fun. That was great fun. So tomorrow I think is back into getting some stuff in the ground.
What would you be putting in?
I got to plant my beans, which I'm just seeding direct this year, and I have 2 squash that I'd like to put in, and a whole lot of flowers that are really busting at the seams to get into the ground.
Mm-hmm. So I need to put your beans in. I've never really direct sowed. I'm also like a little bit nervous. Do you know what I mean? It's just like as soon as like the pop up, maybe a slug will get them, and I seem to be on top of slugs and snails. I've been up today planting out some sweet corn, chard, and beans. But I need to put your little dwarf beans in because they're just lovely. Do you know what I mean?
Those are really good. So that's what I want to get in tomorrow.
Well, you're kind of nodding there when I'm saying, like, are you a little bit nervous of, like, direct planting? I know this is, like, it's a weird thing, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's gardening, for God's sake.
I avoid it at all costs, and I don't know why. I see people talking about it, and some people have great success, like, especially peas and beans and stuff like that. Folk go along, put them all in, but then you hear the stories of the mice will come along and dig up the peas and the beans and scran them and that. But, like, as soon as that little green shoot appears, the slugs, they're out, they're there, they're having it, and then it's gone, and it's dead, and it's done, and that's like weeks of just wasted time. Whereas if you do it in the greenhouse and you've got a nice, strong little sort of seedling, and you put that out, if the slugs come along and attack it, there's a good chance it's going to survive and just keep going, all that wasted time. It's a short season here in Scotland, and
it's only a week.
A week, and the weather, honestly, the weather's been blooming horrendous. The last week's been awful. Honestly, it's like it's been warm enough, but the rain. I've had hailstones twice. We've had hailstones in June. The rain and the wind. The wind. There's been like not like this massive 40, 50 mile an hour wind, but this sort of constant kind of 15, 20 mile an hour wind. And I was at the plot. Was it Saturday? And everything was so dry. Like the ground was just rock hard. And I reckon because it's been warmish, but not warm enough to dry it out. But I reckon this wind that's been blowing all the time just dried everything else out. Like it's been weird.
Well, and on top of all that, what you've just said there, Mark, we've been down here cold on the night time. Just like the heating's been on a couple of times. I mean, I was mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a right baby when it comes to the kind of the heat. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be kind of warm. You know what I mean? But,
yeah, we've had about 5 or 6 degrees overnight. So that's what it's been on the forecast. I've not measured it, but it worries you a bit for the the cucumbers are out, stuff like that. They're in the polytunnel, fair enough, but even still, I put the was it just last weekend I put the squash out before this weather spell came. So I put the winter and the summer squash out, and I went to see them. Honestly, the battering they've taken off the weather, like a lot of the edges of the leaves are all you can see where they've been hit with the cold weather.
Yeah,
around the edges of the leaves. So they've probably been knocked for a couple of weeks before they sort of recover and come back.
Well, that's exactly why I left me sweet corn. But it's a double-edged sword, Mark, Audrey, because I planted them today, and I planted, I put them in pots, and there was like peat, full peat compost, but the like root bound to hell and back. You know what I mean? So I've had to like prise them open a little bit, and then dig them, and then feed them, and I mean they look all right, but it's you put them out, and a neighbour put his out. Because mine are shop bought, because my germination was like, I had 3 out of 100 or something like that. And he put his out when I just bought them. And his are just, because of the weather, still cold, still kind of crunched up, small. And
so... I kind of gave up on sweet corn. I tried twice, 2 years in a row. Beautiful, honestly, it was lovely. It grew, put it in, planted in the grid, got planted in the grid, all that, off it grows. These lovely sweet corns come on. The rats, honestly, they came. And it's like I wouldn't mind, right, if they came and they just had like one sweet corn. Say, right, that's yours, right? You can have this one over here, that's yours.
Yeah.
No, we'll have a bit of this one, then we'll try a bit of that one, we'll try a bit of that one, and we'll try a little bit of all of them. So all of the sweet corn's ruined. They can't just have one. We're going to try a little bit of everything. And I just gave up in the end. I was like, I'm fed up with this.
Right. How do you get round rats? Because you cannot really poison them, because that's, you know what I mean, you never know what's going to have that kind of poison, and it's because they can get anywhere, like mice as well, they can get like anywhere. So I've put the fence in for the rabbits, so it's all trenched and stuff like that, and the rabbits can't get in anything like that now. And the net's on for the pigeons and the butterflies and that, but the rats, they're just, if they want to be there, they'll get there, like they'll be in. But I mentioned it sometimes in the videos, and you see like a lot of people comment like, "I'll get the dog will come and chase them, or shoot them with an air rifle," and it's not my bag. Like, it's not. Well, even that. I mean, are you going to be spending the whole night waiting for a rat to turn up at your allotment? I mean,
just waiting.
I mean, I suppose that they do, because you see actually rat traps in garden centres around. It's like them covered up so that only a rat can get in.
You can get the electric ones, I think, can't you? Where they sort of zap them and you can take them away.
Oh, right. Right, no.
No, mine, look, I'll stand in it or something.
Oh, it's gut wrenching that, because there's that. I was going to say, it's for me, if you don't net and you don't, BT for the kind of the butterflies, it's just brassicas are a waste of time. But
Yeah.
sweet corn's always been all right. Touch wood. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we've got to actually. There's a cat on site. It's just, I don't know if it's a feral cat, but it's always kind of kicking round. So maybe it's keeping them away. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
So.
And with you, Audrey, it's squirrels, isn't it? They're the kind of the rats of your kind of.
They are, and we have a couple rabbits that have been very busy this spring. So there's a lot of little bunnies all over the place. So they've eaten, I think, every strawberry I have outside.
Goodness.
So the only strawberries I have are ones that I picked up at the fruit market the other day. So, and they're in the fridge. I'm like, try to get these. Right?
It's amazing the damage like one single rabbit can do in a night is astounding.
I'm like, I couldn't eat all those strawberries in one sitting. And here's this little bunny rabbit. What are you doing? And I've not seen anything past a flower. Like, anyway. So
I think we don't get. Well, I must be lucky then, because I was even grumbling still today, like slugs and snails, but at least you can kind of deal with them to some extent. But we don't get rats. We don't get. I've never seen mice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't get rats or mice, but I do get bunnies and squirrels.
Rabbits? No.
Yeah. You need a trail cam, Tony. I've put sometimes I put the trail the camera up at night at the allotment. It's amazing what it captures. It's just sort of coming through. There was this weird bird on. I need to put it up sometime on YouTube as well so people can see it. This bird, couldn't even tell you what it was. And it's just sort of cutting about on a night time, just like rocking around the plot. And there's all sorts of stuff. You'd be amazed at what's probably in there.
Oh, I know.
But you don't even realize it's there.
I think everyone would be, if they could see like your plot on a night time. Once your humans left it, it's back to our garden kind of sort of thing. So
no, but the rabbits, I feel for you, Audrey. The rabbits, we've got them all around our allotments. The rabbits, like if you go up there, it's either early in the evening in the summer, or if you're up there early in the morning. It's like watership down, honestly. The amount of rabbits that's just running about in the bushes and stuff. It's loads.
Yeah, and they're acting like they're so cute. And I'm like, I don't find anything cute about you, actually.
I wonder, Mark, what your garden centre does then? Because
not a lot. No.
I don't mean what they do for you. I just wonder what they do for themselves with, because obviously the rats are there, the rabbits are there as well.
Yeah. Well, all this, I suppose all their stuff's up. So obviously inside the garden centre, all the petting plants are stuck up on shelves where people can get them and stuff. But even then, the rats would get up and in. So, but then the rats, when the rats come, they're generally like established foods. So they came and ate all the carrots last year, and then sweet corn and stuff like that. So that they don't seem interested in the plants. The rats never seem interested in sort of like the planty bits. It's always the crop bit. That they come for.
Oh, that's good. At least you can kind of let the slugs and snails have the plant bits, and then they can share it out.
Something for everybody.
Isn't it crazy? Sometimes it's like, why do we do this?
Yeah.
Like we're just beating ourselves on the head.
How many strawberry plants did you have then? What were?
Oh, I have. I planted them in my asparagus bed. The asparagus strawberry combo. So there's probably 36 or 50 plants in there. I've not seen one strawberry from that.
Are rabbits normally that rife in yours, are they? Or is it just this year has been a special?
This year's been especially, but I really think there's like a family of rabbits that have moved in. And so it's not just the little rando rabbit that's, running around the street. I think we have a family. And I'm not sure where
all I can say is let's bring back myxomatosis. Power to myxomatosis. You know what I mean? Kind of. Mind, have you ever seen that when it happens to a rabbit? Wow,
no.
We're working in the waterboard when I was a young'un. It's just horrific. Do you know what I mean? Like blind, and they're running into like brick walls, and it was just like horrible. To be honest, horrible.
Oof.
And what is that?
Have you ever heard of that? We've got it over here. Or I don't know if it's, it must still be kicking around. It's a disease rabbits get called myxomatosis. And it's just horrific. It's horrible. Do you know what I mean?
So it's a way to, kill them?
Well, no, we don't know it's a disease that's out in the wild.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
a
It's not
disease
a
they
it's not like
get.
a
Okay.
I mean, I
Okay.
don't know where it originated from,
Okay.
but it makes them
Those brick walls where all the snails are living, maybe,
it's running to them.
or
But
stone walls.
That's the
Yeah.
the porn party on my brick wall, my walls here. Then, so, Mark? Have you been planting anything? Have you any good news to talk about your allotment?
A bit. Well, the squash went out. I know it's taken a bit of a battering, so I've put in my latest video, by the way.
Oh, has it just been released?
It went out on Sunday. So if anybody after Potty Gardener Club wanted to go and watch it, by all means. So I'm going vertically with the squash. So I've got these. I've got 3 archways that I've put in, and the squash is all out, and then it's going to go up. But I planted it out. And then Monty Don, after me, Monty Don, by the way, not before me, after me.
He's a right top, yeah.
He came on Gardener's World.
Time, Mark,
and he's like, oh, you should give your squash at least a metre square around about it. Well, my squash are about that far apart from each other, so they might not have enough room, but we're worried about that later. We'll not worry too much about that.
Well, it's funny, honestly, because I was up today and I've done 2 beds where I've got red cabbages in, and I've just put 4 in each bed, and I know it's almost like common sense, but they are way nicer, better, healthier than when I've put say 6 or 8 in. Do you know what I mean? 10 full times better. You know what I mean? And it's they had just as a normal start as any other time I've put them in, and I was saying on my video, which I don't know when's coming out, I was saying it's almost like a therapeutic challenge to yourself. Feel good not to put as many in. Just to put 4 plants in a bed and think that's it. It's full.
Well, I've given my colleagues. I must admit, I put my colleagues out a couple of weeks ago, and I've given them a little bit more space than I normally would. Normally, I try and ram as many in as I can, and especially right at the end of the bed. So sort of the way I plant them out in the long bed is I do them sort of diagonally opposite each other.
Yes.
To try and maximise the space, but give them as much space as I can. But right at the end of the bed, at each bed, so I've got 2 beds full of collie. I've given them 1 collie right at the end with loads of room, just to see what it does, just compared to the others that are how I normally do them. And there's 1 at the end of each bed, just to see if it goes massive or it's just any better or worse. So we'll see. A few months' time, we'll see how it looks.
And have you fed that, Mark, or would you feed these collies, or would you just
well, I do actually, because these are I love like you know yourself, it can be quite difficult to grow cauliflower, because sometimes when the white bit comes on the head, or I suppose a technical term that I'm not using, if it gets too much sun on it, it can bolt. And you ever see it looks like all the tiny little white bits go poof, and they all sort of come out. And I tried to pick them really young, but the 2 beds that I use the collie in are the only 2 no-dig beds, if that makes sense.
Right.
So they're sort of traditional beds that I get the hoe in and I dig it over and stuff like that. They're the only 2 left. And they might not be there next year because it's a right pain in the backside. Digging them over compared to no dig. It's a bit of work. Because it's just normal soil. There's not raised beds full of compost and that.
Right.
So I put down either chicken manure pellets, and I use something called Vitax Q4, which is just a general multi-purpose sort of fertilizer sort of stuff. So that's the 2 things I'll generally put on the bed and give the collies a good feed. And sometimes, every now and again, maybe it's a liquid feed, maybe it's a cucumber feed.
All right, I've never tried that.
No,
maybe a seaweed one. Is that what you're thinking of?
A seaweed feed. They're both green. They're both the same. The rats will eat them both. But a bit of seaweed feed maybe sometimes as well if they're looking a bit not great. But we'll see how they turn out. We'll see.
Well, it's funny, Audrey, that just reminded us, because you don't put. Do you put manure, you'll not be able to kind of really get horse shit kind of stuff on your bed, so you must go through... No.
None of that.
So you must, if you're going to fertilise, would you ever consider putting a man-made fertiliser, a powder, a nitrogen feed on, or...
Well, if I need nitrogen, I'll use blood meal. And... So that's kind of man-made.
Mm-hmm.
I try to use organic stuff if I can.
Are yours organic then, Mark? Were they them 2 you mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, Vitax. I mean, I guess the things I use. So, like when I plant them out again, there's fish blood and bone in the hole. It's kind of natural, kind of man-made. Obviously, seaweed feed and that is somebody's made it and put it in a bottle. It's not like I've just got a load of seaweed and made a feed out of it. In the Q4, again, the Q4 is obviously a sort of man-made kind of thing that I use. But it's good, though. It's a good general purpose. I don't think there's anything really nasty in it. You know, there's not like anything horrendous in it that I know of. I've been using it for the last sort of 3 years and I've not pegged it yet. So I'm hoping
I
it's
feed
all right.
the tomatoes and chilies with, I mean, God knows what. It could be made from bloody Chernobyl. Do you know what I mean? It's...
Yeah.
I tell you what, I forget.
So that's why your tomato plants
looking like trees.
But I did see your cucumbers look.
I've just picked some. I've picked some today. 5 kind of.
Yeah, they look great. Yeah, they're kicking.
To be honest, well, it might be the feed. You know, I mean, I've fed them once or twice there now, but I still think they're living a good life off the compost. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, still, you know what I mean? So,
are they in the quad grows? Was that the AB feed and stuff? Yeah,
yeah, they've had that AB feed as well. Yeah. So they've all had that AB. I haven't done any CalMag or anything like that in the polytunnel. I've just kind of, and I let when I did I'm at this moment, touch wood. I'm chuffed to bits with the way the quad grows are growing, because it's like it's more of a benefit for me personally. Like, it just relieves this. And I wouldn't say it's stress about going up, but it's just like, all right, I don't have to go up today. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
I'm worried, honestly, Tony. I'm worried, right, that I'm becoming a fully fledged quad grow convert, right? So in the greenhouse, I've got 4 at the minute set up. I've got another 4 to set up, so I've got them in there, right? And my dad was around at the weekend. Come and see this. Come and see this. Good to see you do it and that. And I looked in the little reservoir, and there was still loads of water in. And I was like, oh, blooming marvellous. And then I'm up at the allotment every other day, watering like the tomatoes, the cucumbers, the peppers up there. And I'm like, so much easier. And the plants in the quad grow look really good, look really healthy, and they're growing really quickly. And I'm like, oh, don't make me buy more quad grows. It's that blooming Tony Smith, he's influencing. I'll get my e-bike and that one.
Well, I did all
like
all in.
If that wasn't working.
But the plan was there to kind of to ease off a little bit, you know what I mean? And I thought, because if you go away, it's trying to ask someone.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's the hassle. And honestly, everyone on that plot would come and water.
Yeah.
But you don't like to ask.
You don't want to be a burden, do you?
It's more like, you know, you can get away with like, any chance of watering? But then you go away 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, just for even a night or 2 nights. Yeah. It's like, do you ask again, or do you just try and chance it? Do you know what I mean?
And of course, it's the summer when you're going to go away, when it's nice and sunny and warm as well. You go on your day trips, and of course, that's when the plants need the most care and attention.
Well, they're getting now, Mark. At this moment, already these quadros are 2 weeks between waters. So even though I'm going up, say every other day or something like that, I don't have to kind of spend the hour or half an hour doing that part. I can kind of concentrate on, you know. So, and you can
get 4 cabbage plants in one bed.
Yes, of course. Honestly, it's like
every time I see that, I'm like, look at all that empty space that you're not using.
Audrey, you need to come and jump into the waters. It's minimalist gardening is the thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just like
no.
If you look at it's almost like looking at like an Andy Warhol painting. 4 cabbages are perfect. Do you know what I mean? It's just like none of this kind of contemporary squash it all together mess. It's just like perfect, you know.
Well, I was thinking before though, Tony, you said before you've got a couple of empty beds this year, and you weren't fussed about. I've got 2 at the minute. I've got 2 empty beds, and I've just not felt to be in a massive mad rush to pressure myself.
It's pressure to fill them, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to go down that route. So I've still got them, Mark. I've still got. I don't know, probably about 4 beds, you know what I mean? There's a nice one next to the polytunnel that I'm just thinking, I'm just using that to hold me once I plant something out, I'm throwing my trays down there. That's actually the tray collection bed at the moment, and that's where I grew last year the parsnips. So
you have no plans for the empty beds?
I don't think so, Audrey. Do you know what I mean? It's just like
wow. Send them over here.
It's liberating.
Ship them over here.
Liberating. leaving them fallow for the year.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, in one way, that kind of harm. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of
Well, you should plant some green manure in there.
I know. See,
just let it go.
That would stress us out, to be honest, because I would have to get it dug in or lifted up eventually, or you know what I mean. And I just
put your little electric lawnmower on it; it'll cut it down.
Shh! You haven't got to say anything about that yet, man.
It's a secret project.
Yeah, man. Everyone just cut that out of the.
Pretend you didn't hear anything.
What else? You've knocked us there. Well, I was going to ask about something else there, but anyways, it's gone. Anything else, Mark? Are you planting or anything?
Well, funny you should say that. So I'm trying to empty the greenhouse. I'm trying my best to get emptied because the quad growers are going in there. So I've only got leeks and lettuce left in there to shift out. But you know what I'm thinking of now? I'm thinking of things for autumn and winter. We're not even fully into the summer yet. And I'm already thinking, I need to get the autumn and winter crops sown. So some of like the sprouting broccoli and stuff like that needs to get.
Well, definitely sprouting broccoli's round. Is it? It's roundabout now. You know what I mean? For like the kind,
probably should have had it in. I've got some sprouts as well. Actually, I've got some Brussels sprouts I need potting on there in the greenhouse, and it's stuff like that it's quite depressing. It's the middle of June, and it's just starting to get warm and nice, and you're thinking, what can I have in the winter? What can I put in the winter?
That's what I was like. This video today, I kind of walked into the polytunnel, and I did say to myself and the camera, it'd be lovely to do the lettuce in them. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not, because I've got a hell of a lot of quad grows now.
Quad grows?
You know what I mean? Like put some lettuce in the quad grows, and just I know eventually I'm guessing that water might freeze in the bottom up. So I'm not sure how that would happen. What would happen? You know what I mean? But maybe it might not freeze. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But certainly,
chemicals in it might not, because you don't know what
the icer.
It's antifreeze in there.
You don't know what.
What do you do? That's what I was trying to think of there. When we're talking about kind of feeding and chemical feeding, have you seen? What's it, Mark, over here? And it's bright blue. It comes in like a feed. It's Miracle Grow. Have you seen?
Oh yeah,
man,
neon blue. Yeah,
and it's like on the packet. It's got like tomatoes and
the most unnatural chemical thing I've ever seen.
But
you can put it on flowers and they'll go insane.
Oh yes,
because it's obviously good. Whatever. I shouldn't say good. It's obviously makes things grow fast.
It's when they glow at night that's a problem.
I know. So I wouldn't put it near a fruit or vegetable. But
actually, there was because I do another kind of show, like tech show. We haven't been talking about it yet, but one of the topics possibly could be there's a company in America has now done luminous plants. So your begonias and all your flowers, through the day look amazing, but on the night time, they take on a whole different set of colours through like luminescence. So like the glowing like blues and greens and all that kind of thing. So you get two lots of colours. Look at Audrey's eyes are lighting.
Where do I get these?
I can see the checkbook waving. Throwing the money.
This is like, that sounds kind of scary, horrifying.
Like say... like a neon greens and blues and aqua blues, so you get them kind of shades on the night time, and then through the day you have your normal kind of coloured.
So that's being done through some chemical you're putting on it?
I'm not sure how they do it. It's some like research company have been at this game for a while and they've perfected it now. You know what I mean? So
that sounds quite cool.
That would look
great. As long as
if you imagine they're looking out and they're all glowing back at you.
That's what you want.
I know,
it's like Blade Runner for your garden.
They scare the rats off.
Yes.
It would scare me off, I think, if I looked out there and saw.
Well, that's it. That's the plans for you for your squirrels. Just
maybe if they eat those, they will not feel so good.
Maybe if you eat them, the squirrels will glow, and you can see where they are.
Well, there we go. What? Anything? I've got some notes. Anybody got any unexpected, unusual techniques that you've experimented with that have significantly improved your vegetable yields? Anybody done anything?
I planted out way earlier this year. So my peas have been there. I think they're going to be ending soon.
Right?
We have gotten so many peas, 4 different kinds. And I just put them in the ground, didn't pre-start them, didn't do anything. And just the way our spring kind of went, they loved it. And very prolific, all of them.
Funny, that's the thing, Audrey. That's like, it's happened this one year and you try and repeat that next year. Do you know what I mean? And then
it gave me the I always have a hard time come end of April, mid-April, end of April to get stuff out because I think, I know we're going to get slammed again. I know it's not over, but you're supposed to be able to put peas out, lettuce, various things. And I thought, I'm just going to put them out this year. And what's the worst thing? I have to resow it all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I did it, and I'm very pleased.
So for your time, when did you put it out then? What?
I probably did it second week of April.
See, that's still early for us over here, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're growing. I can't believe how big they are and how much they're producing. So I've got those growing up trellises. They're not that tall, but they're tall enough that they need some support. But they're beautiful. Best peas I've ever had.
Oh, bloody hell, there's a
best.
I need to actually stake mine out now. Mine are kind of just needing ready to kind of start the, you know what I mean? They got a hit a week or two ago with pea weevil. And there's like these little razor sharp kind of teeth there. Took a bloody like zigzag, So I think the plants have like proved stronger than because they're starting new shoots and it's all starting to like take away again. So hopefully. But I need to do that, or to kind of just stake them out, or get them some sort of structure around them. So
but I've never. So next year, I might even try to put them out a week earlier. We'll see. Well,
it's funny. I should, you know what I mean? Because we're milder than yous, and I think you do get that kind of. But peas are fine. Lettuce is fine. Lettuce can go down. You know what I mean? And you hum and haw because I think you've always got in your mind, but. Tomatoes, you're on that kind of tomatoes, chilies, warning feeling. Do you know what I mean? So anything else kind of gets lumped in with that.
And I almost had arugula this year. Didn't quite, but I almost had it.
Right. What do we call that over here? I've forgotten on my mind. What's arugula?
Rocket.
Oh,
right. Rocket, yeah.
But that bolted pretty quickly, So
why would that bolt then, Audrey?
Because we remember in those spring times we go from hot to cold to hot to cold.
Right.
And that doesn't like that. It just likes cold.
Mm-hmm.
So that bolted. But very happy with the peas this year.
I find, mind you, the rocket that I sold a couple of years ago still, I must have left some in and like it's self-seeded, it still pops up. Some seeds of rockets, you know what I mean?
Wow, so, that's impressive.
Arugula.
Yes.
What the dickens is that?
I love the things that Audrey says like that. I love all the different herbs. I think it's brilliant.
No, isn't that what it's called in Italy, isn't it?
I'm not sure. How do we get rocket then? Where do we get rocket?
There you go. Where'd you get rocket? See, here, rocket is a variety of arugula.
Ah, right.
But
I'm just talking about. Look at the color of that. When you think about
that
the
always
blue,
reminds me of Tang. Is that Tang?
Funny you should mention that. Stuff? Look at the color of that. You know what that is? Homemade rhubarb cordial, made by my fair hands from the rhubarb from the allotment. Yeah, it's got 5 ingredients in it: orange, lemon, rhubarb, ginger, and a bit of sugar.
Right.
I'm going to be making some of that this week.
There you go, and it's
Just based on-
delicious. It's
Based on
delicious.
your recipe.
So I know he's going to use the excuse of watching me video for the recipe and how
Well,
I did it.
I don't have one, but if everybody would like to see one, I could rustle one up.
So quickly then, Mark, how did you pick some rhubarb? You stew it, I guess. Do you stew it?
Yeah, a bit of water and sugar in the pan. Get the water, get the sugar to dissolve. Chuck the rhubarb in, stew it. It doesn't take long. How it takes any time at all to stew.
Yeah.
Whole lemon, whole orange juice, rind, bit of ginger, so a bit of fresh ginger, a couple of slices of fresh ginger in there. Chuck it in, let it cook for a bit till it's all like squishy, you know, when the rhubarb's all sort of falling apart. Chuck it through muslin in a sieve. Job done. That's it.
And how much did you get, like quantity wise?
Quite a bit. I couldn't tell you the exact measurement, but I think it's about. Did I get about? I don't know, because I use a jug. You know my measuring jug. I've got about that much in it. But I put it on these little fancy little bottles to give to people and stuff like that to try out. But I got quite a bit. I was quite impressed with it because when you get a glut of stuff, so I've got loads and loads of rhubarb in a minute. And I like a rhubarb crumble as much as the next person, but there's a limit to how much you can have. It's like, so I'm going to do some jam as well, and I think Jesse was saying rhubarb sorbet is apparently delicious. So we've got an ice cream maker that lives in the cupboard that never gets used. So I'm going to use it. So I'm going to make some rhubarb sorbet at some point as well to see what that's like.
So you know your rhubarb what are you calling it, Mark? Rhubarb cordial?
Cordial. Yeah, so just like diluting juice kind of thing.
All right, so it's actually diluted with water as well.
Yeah, so that's with still water, or you can use. I usually use like soda water, so fizzy water.
Right,
it's lovely fizzy water, ice cube, lovely sunny day, beautiful.
Yeah, get you.
All natural ingredients. You know exactly what's in it because you've made it yourself and that as well. None of this like.
Yep.
What was the stuff in that Sunny Delight? Wasn't it called that like nuclear looking orange stuff you got?
Well, I mean, look at that. That's just kind of Robinson's orange, but it just looks a little bit kind of man-made. It doesn't look natural at all. Do you know what I mean? So
it's Miracle Grow orange juice.
Miracle. That's exactly what it is, Audrey. Miracle Grow.
Audrey, would you ever do anything like that, like a cordial? I've never.
Yeah, I literally am going to make what Mark was talking about.
Right. Where did you get the recipe then, Mark? Then, because you just saying a little bit of this and a little bit of that's not going to work for anybody. That much of your jug is full with it. You know what I mean?
You'll have to watch the video. Either that, or go to the BBC Good Food website, and you might find it on there.
I found it on the BBC website. I thought, now this I can follow. But it gave me that idea to go look for it. So.
Well, it's actually now, isn't it? Like rhubarb is just
there's loads of it.
Loads of it. Do you know what I mean? It kind of keeps on going. I did a few months ago now my first forced rhubarb, and that was a different taste entirely. Good. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of. I mean, you still need kind of sugar. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Well, it's tart, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, you do. I was going to say my wife makes the crumble, and have you put sugar in? Because you're not, you know what I mean? It's like it's almost like crack cocaine and melon. You know what I mean? There's no, it's not coming in this house. Sugar, but yes, I have. You know what I mean? Like half a teaspoon for a full.
That's enough.
That kind of tart flavour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But when you eat that forced one, you know, you just bite it from the ground. If you know what I mean, like straight picking, there's a certain like a sweetness there and a tang that's pleasant.
Slightly sweeter, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And it was just like I just put a plastic bin.
I was going to say, what did you use? Because you see people, whenever I've seen it before, obviously people for YouTube, they've got these big fancy antique crock things that they put on top of it, isn't it? And I'm like, I'm going to spend like £100 on something like that.
Mark, it's an old bin, plastic waste paper bin. Do you know what I mean? And it shoots the grow quick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That kind of, and they're just thin because they're just straight up. But I'll tell you where I've seen a YouTube video of and I've tried to order it, but I think they're only for like commercial, like restaurants and everything. There's a Yorkshire company does forced rhubarb, and it's just in a pitch black shed, 300 meters long, and they've got candles alight just to keep it very dark, and then it's just it's honestly like a football pitch, black,
Brilliant.
of just this like forced rhubarb, just growing like waist height, all this stuff, and then they pick it and box it and.
Wow.
Brilliant.
I
Goodness.
tell you what I did buy.
Unusual technique.
Oh, I know. I tell you what I did buy. Kind of changing the subject a little bit. Do you have over there? You might do, Audrey. Clarkson's Farm on your TV on Amazon TV. Jeremy Clarkson's like a TV kind of car guy, but he's got a farm now and he manages a farm. They did mushrooms a few weeks ago. I bought the mushroom kit. You can buy that kit.
Of course you did.
Yes, why not? You know what I mean? So it was £20.
Right.
Because when I watched the programme straight away, I said, that would be a nice little thing. And every other company was £40 for this bag, which will last, I don't know how much it would give you, but, you know, it's a fair-sized bag.
Yeah.
And then I seen an Instagram of Clarkson's partner. I told her, like, this is how you do it if you wanted to come over to the Diddley Squat shop. And I thought, oh, and there it was, 20 quid. I thought, oh. So it came within the, if you look,
what kind
can
of
you
mushrooms?
see, you know, see that picture there, and my finger is,
Right.
that's Jeremy, you get a photograph of Jeremy Clarkson next to his tractor. Hi. Oh, I couldn't get it, but it's got pinned. So I haven't actually done it yet. I'm waiting for, because my son's reads in China, so I'm waiting for him to come back and we can grow it together. Do you know what I mean? So,
what kind of mushrooms are you doing?
There's some sort of shiitake.
Shiitake.
Yeah. That's the Geordie version, Audrey. There's some sort of shiitake mushroom, love. I don't know. Man, for God's sake.
Today in Tony's house, we've got the shiitake mushrooms.
Shiitake mushrooms. Where are you,
Day 42 on the mushrooms.
Have you grown mushrooms? Have you ever tried mushrooms?
I have not. I have not purposely.
Mm-hmm.
I always get a few in the garden, but I've never grown them on purpose.
I'm actually,
and I don't trust them when they just grow themselves. We had one that grew up, and it was the most. How can I put this? Very phallic looking, and it actually spewed out of the top like this. I think they're called like a stink mushroom or something.
Yes.
And I was like, oh no, this. It was frightening. And I thought, how does a mushroom grow like this? Come on, I've never seen a mushroom.
Well, isn't there a chili pepper that looks?
Oh yeah, a Peter pepper.
Yeah,
it's just bizarre looking. That, do you know what I mean? That thing should be banned.
Yeah, it should be because it's frightening.
We need a competition. That's got to be a potty mouth grow along the Peter pepper.
That's a good idea. That's the kind of the one
the potty mouth only fans.
It's like, well, they're just. It's just.
They're disturbing.
That's a nice way of saying it. Disturbing. That's what else have we got? I was asking ChatGPT, have you ever incorporated any traditional or ancient gardening practices into your methods?
Well, when I apply mycorrhizal, I dance in the dark around the plant.
No, you don't. You don't.
Well, you accused me of that.
You can do.
So you've accused me of that. No.
Are you still seeing the benefit from it, Audrey? Are you still? Yeah, I guess you've still done it this year.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't not do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I love the stuff.
See, there you go then. Mushrooms, mycorrhizal. You know what I mean? It's all
the same.
It's all the same. Yeah. It's all the same.
Well, they're all the ground. Yeah, they're all fungus, but I don't think that's why they're popping up. Luckily, I've never had that stinky one again, that real nasty one.
So it just grew in your garden, did it? Or did it just come out of nowhere?
Yeah. I've had them pop up in a couple beds even.
Mm-hmm.
And they almost look like a regular mushroom, but I'm like, no. I'm not a mushroom, like, decider. No.
Well, I know. I tell you,
feed it to the rabbits. That's who I should give it.
I bet the rabbits will not touch it. Hannah knows loads of different, because Hannah
grows them, doesn't she? She
goes out foraging where she lives, and there's loads of lovely ones she's getting. She has like the lovely, like, wooden basket with them all piled in, goes foraging for them. She knows all the kind of the mushrooms as well. So
there's a place down the road from us here in the Royal Borough of Linlithgow, where they play cricket. So
next to Aldi, left of the co-op.
Well, it's just past Tesco actually. So
all right, couldn't be Aldi, had to be Tesco.
Where the cricket club is, there was a building that they built. It was a kids' nursery, and the nursery like closed down, and I never knew what they were doing in there. It was like everything was covered up, all the windows were covered up and stuff like that. And I asked somebody one day and they said, they grow mushrooms in there now, and apparently they grow these really fancy mushrooms and they give them to all the high-end restaurants.
Right.
And it's like there's such this random little unsuspecting building. Like I said, it used to be a nursery next to the cricket club, but you walk past it, you wouldn't even know it's there. And apparently it's full of all these like delicate, beautiful, perfect mushrooms that go to these fancy Michelin star places and stuff like that.
Well, I did watch once, again, Audrey over here, we've got, bless him, he's just passed away there now, one of them from the Hairy Bikers, and this is like two chefs that go on motorbikes and they travel around. Well, they went...
I've seen those guys.
Yeah, well,
okay, I know what you're talking about,
Yeah, one passed away this year as well. Bloody horrible, terrible... But anyway, they went to see these young lads who had just like a container.
I remember that.
Aye, and just like kids. And I was thinking, to read, do you know what I mean? He's done all these exams, all this kind of aerospace engineering, and he cannot stand it. And I says, do something funky. You know what I mean? Like set up a mushroom business.
But say, I think that sometimes I'm like, am I having a midlife crisis? Because it's like, you do your job and that, like, and it's pretty. What I do is pretty stressful. There's a lot of pressure on it and stuff like that. And I sometimes think, like, I could just do something else, couldn't I? But then I'm like, you've got a mortgage, you've got a family, you've got things to support and look after and stuff like that. You've got to do adulting. You've got to do proper stuff. But, like, you see those kids on that program doing the mushrooms. And, like, if you're doing something that you really enjoy, when it's your passion project, your thing. And I'm just in awe of people who do stuff like that, honestly.
Well, that's, Mark, I mean, even like doing this and doing the garden, I mean, I've crossed the finishing line now, so it's like, but like, there was no love for work. Do you know what I mean? No. I enjoyed the lads, I enjoyed all the chit-chat and all, everyone, and I loved when I was out and about on the, like we were driving around Land Rovers, driving around the countryside and all that. It was just fab. Then they put us in an office, and it was just like no love there. Do you know what I mean? I was looking at like 7 screens, like water pressures and stuff like that. It was just, but doing this again, you know what I mean? I'm lucky, I kind of crossed the finishing line. But what, Mark? Honestly, just spare time, do it. Do you know what I mean?
If like say another 20 to 50,000 people want to go and subscribe to my channel, and I could perhaps go down to 3 or 4 days a week, that would be pretty magic, wouldn't it? That'd be good.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
Audrey, did you have, how do I word this nicely? Are you having a midlife crisis? Do you ever have midlife crises? I'm not saying that they've gone and passed, but I'm saying, are you having them now, midlife crisis?
No,
just steady down the...
I'm more at the 3/4 life crisis.
You said it, not me.
But I don't think I'm having a crisis now. I know back in the day that even if you love your job, there's always stuff in your job you don't like. So you just try to find that one that gives you more likes than more green lights than red lights. So I think I always kind of loved what I did. So I never felt that, but then I never had to be like the responsible party. My husband and I both worked, so it was more of like a team effort. So it wasn't like, well, Kev, you're responsible for everything. No, we kind of both were, but I don't think either one of us ever worked for the money. That doesn't make sense. Well, it didn't matter. We kind of tried to do what we enjoyed doing.
Well, it's saying that. No, I was going to say for me though, it was just I'm always like the one head in the clouds, and Melanie's the one down the ground, and it was Melanie who was the kind of the wage earner. Do you know what I mean? Like compared to my wage, so it was when the chance for me to go retired, it was just like yes. Well, it was a yes from me, but then it was like, what do you think, Melanie? Is that would that be a possibility? I'm allowed.
We're having a bit of a competition at work. So there's a few of us all around about the same age. We've all been there around about the same amount of time. We're having a competition to see who can retire the earliest. And I mean, I'm still on the. Well, most of us are still on the right side of 45. We've got a few years yet to go, but we're all planning so we can go on this pension calculator thing at work, right? There's a little slider bar.
Yeah.
And you move the slider and say, if I retire then, how much money do I need to do that? And if I just move it then, it's like, who's going to be the first one to go? Who's going to pull the plug?
Mark, honestly, we probably used that. There was me and a lad, and it was, we put our name down like for 5 years.
Aye.
We told management in 5 years we're going. So I left when I was 55.
Aye.
Do you mean? But that slider was every day we were on that slider. You know what I mean? It's kind of yeah. So
but you don't want to work till you're knackered though, do you?
Oh.
You know, like what's the pension age now? The state pension, 68. There's not a bat in hell's chance of me working until I'm 68. Imagine working all that time, then you retire, and God forbid something happens. You know, enjoy your life, isn't it?
Well, it's still, Audrey, it's still for me, Mark, it's still for me. Every night, I swear, every night I get that kind of weekend feeling. I'm off tomorrow. What can I do? Can I play with me robot lawnmower? Do you know what I mean? This is the kind of reality.
Don't mention that. Don't mention the lawnmower.
Do you know what I mean? Can I go up the garden? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can we play? Can I? You know what I mean? Even just like walking the dogs. It's just like I'm up at 5:30.
Yeah.
6 o'clock out with the dogs with a chucker. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't happening when I was working. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like.
Then again, I wouldn't fancy working in a polytunnel all throughout the summer. Imagine that. 10 minutes and then I'm done.
There you go then, Mark. You've hit the nail on the head.
But you both are in jobs that offered pensions, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a big difference.
Mm.
Yeah.
But that was funny enough, Audrey. I was one of the, because we have, I don't know if it's the same over there, but we did have a thing called final salary pension. And I was like one of the last puppies to go on that before like companies realised.
We don't get that.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's how I went.
No.
You know what I mean?
As a public servant, we the pension scheme is really good actually. That we, even though we're not a final salary scheme thing anymore, it's still the employer's contributions are still pretty good.
And that slider gets moved then, doesn't it?
The slider. When can I leave, please?
It's when you kind of look at it and you say, well, I'll just move it to like, say, 10 years. And then you go, well, I'll just say 8%. We'll always make 8%. Yeah. And you go, freaking hell. You know what I mean?
Well, anything before 60 is a win in my book. Yes, I think. That's what I'm planning anyway. Not that I'm wishing my life away, but I don't want to work till I'm, done.
But, I mean, look at what happened with me. Look at bloody Steve. Do you know what I mean? It's just like you don't know what's wrong that corner.
Aye.
All. Do you know what I mean?
Enjoy it while you can. Yes.
Have we put a bit of a down?
It's got a bit somber, hasn't it?
So what are you all harvesting right now? How about we go there?
Yes. Let's get out of that. Five cucumbers. I forgot what they were called there for a second. Were they called children's fingers or something?
They're little cucumbers. But those are lovely. And they're
honestly, the going great.
Yeah,
I picked them today. Do you know what I mean? I was chuffed to bits, to be honest. I mean,
my cucumbers aren't even in yet, so you're doing great.
You know what? No, what I've harvested.
How can that happen? They kind of grow that quick before your winter comes, surely.
Next to nothing. Honestly, I've harvested next to nothing. Some lettuce, some spring onions, rhubarb. And I was thinking before, Audrey, when you were saying about your peas, and you put them out nice and early, and I'm thinking, I've got to be on that game next year. Everything's going out in March next year. Everything will be dead within about 2 or 3 days. But I'm going to try. It's all going out there. It's all going out nice and early, getting sown nice and early. But I feel like I'm behind. Like Like in terms
Now,
of harvesting, especially.
What I did with the peas this year is I put some tulle over it, or like it's not fleece. It's just like an enviromesh. Only it's what you make like ballet skirts for little girls out of. So
you mentioned that before, that kind of material.
Yeah, so nothing could get in there and try to dig out the peas.
Yeah.
So I left that on there for 6 weeks and then pulled it up, and they were beautiful.
Okay.
Because a lot of the rodenty kind of things don't like their paws. Are they called paws? Whatever, the little front claw things. They don't like how it makes their feet feel. So they don't go near it. Or they go near it and then they go, yuck, I'm sticking to this stuff. So I would say try that too.
But again, that's what Mark's a little bit scared of, is like the planting into the ground. I mean, I did my peas, mind you, straight in, Mark. You know what I mean? I can't remember. I've got it actually on me journal app on the phone when the kind of. But I think, Audrey, though, you either have a good year or you don't, and it's like it all depends on weather. You know what I mean? So no matter what you kind of put out,
we are all holding to the weather. I mean,
I'll go back to carrots again. I've tried carrots umpteen times, even when I don't even get smothered by weeds. Oh, it's too cold, and they've missed. You know what I mean? And it's just like you start again in a few.
How are the buckets? You put some in buckets.
I had a look today. They're still the same. It's basically, I think, what they were last month. You know, so they've germinated, they've come up, and I'm using the potato compost with some feed in. So we'll see. I'm not. Not hoping.
You could just get them out really small and say they're those Chantilly ones, you know, the little ones. Oh, yes, these are Chantilly ones.
I should show them the cucumbers and the tomatoes and say, look at what your brothers and sisters are looking like. You know what I mean?
You better start growing, or I'm replacing your space with something that's going to produce.
It's definitely a slow start.
We wrap up. It's actually we're on top of the hour there, and we've just bloody
time flies, doesn't it?
Wow,
it does.
Anything else?
Well, hopefully, like I say, we'll have Jess back next week, and we'll ask her how the BBC's Gardeners World. I think it's a bit like a Chelsea flower show, certainly not as big. You know, I think it's like a flower garden show, and Hannah's got a plot there. You know how she did one at Hampton Court, I think.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, though. I mean, talk about living the dream and doing your dream job. Because didn't Hannah's got a degree in some sort of science thing? I can't remember exactly what she did, but and she's doing
Hannah was
this
still working
now.
at that Trackall restaurant. Do you know what I mean? Left there a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Brilliant. Imagine doing that though, like going off to this Gardener's World showing you, and that's your job. That's your thing. You're getting paid to do it. To create that, and then you're going to Jesse give us a hand, and Jesse's helping out. I mean, how brilliant is that? But I hope he's got a good pension scheme, though. You know,
that's the thing. Could they do the 60 plus before 60 mark?
Well, exactly. Yeah,
that's the goal.
There's a few Instagram dollars for that.
Quick question: are you both growing garlic?
No, elephant garlic.
But are they escaping?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I harvested grapes last week too.
Wow.
So with elephant garlic, or that's a cracking that, because can I pick that as
Absolutely.
Elephant garlic?
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that'll make your elephant garlic bulb bigger. You get that off.
Mine looks terrible this year. So I got normally I get my garlic from the garlic farm. You know, the place in the Isle of Wight.
Yes.
And the garlic comes out brilliant. And I got some from DT Brown this time. They're a good supplier. I get loads of stuff from them. And was it called Checkmate or Check Right or something like this unique variety just that they've got. And the last 2 years the garlic has been blooming marvellous. It's splendid. It's looking a bit sketchy this year, right? It's not. I don't know what it looks like under the ground. I was
going to say that.
Right.
But
because sometimes that's deceiving. Like you'll still pull one out and go, "Wow, that's a big one."
Yeah, I mean we're a little bit early still. Another month.
Charlie Dowden, Mark. Charlie Dowden is the 24th of June.
Right.
Man. He picks a day and he said, you know what I mean? I'm sure I've seen a video where he said 24th of June I'll be pulling this. And I watched, I don't know where it was. I don't know if it was like a recent one by him, but he went to his garlic and he was just like circling around. He pulled one bulb and it was just like,
Aye.
are you kidding? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it was like a football. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, what? The things I grew are like, you know what I mean?
Well, I see Ben Van Heems from Grove Edge. He was at Charlie Dowden's place, and he's got his latest video out at the weekend there.
Right.
Was him all with Charlie Dowden's. I've not watched it yet, but I'm looking forward to having a watch of it.
All right. I'll have a look at that. So
it'll be good.
Funny enough, I was a little bit disappointed with the garlic farm, Mark. A couple of years ago, they sent us some elephant garlic, which was like tiny little bulbs.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? So, well, it all depends who you, I guess.
Yeah. It's clearly all their fault, though, Tony, not ours. It's entirely the supplier's fault, not ours.
I mean, everyone's looking here at three professionals. Do you know what I mean? It's obviously the supplier's fault, or the weather, or the the conditions.
Uses available, right? Long list. What could it be? The bunnies, the squirrels, the
well, actually, Audrey, your garlic's always grand. You know, you don't see.
I'm hoping they look fabulous, and so normally I harvest the the bulbs 2 weeks after I take the scapes off. So that's kind of my That's kind of my timing.
So how long would you leave a scape? As soon as you see a scape, would you take it off?
Well, now the elephant garlic ones don't twirl; they just grow straight up like they're going to produce. So those, but once the regular garlic ones do a twist, take it off.
Mm-hmm. I've got no regular garlic. I keep getting hit with bloody white rot with them. So, but the elephant garlic doesn't seem to be as affected. But so you're saying 2 weeks after you pick it, you should pick your.
Well, but then you look at the leaves too, because you're supposed to have like 3 sets of leaves that are going brown.
Have you got any rust, Audrey, on your garlic or anything like that?
Don't.
See what?
But that doesn't really affect it, does it?
Well,
it looks ugly.
Yeah.
I guess too much. I guess eventually it will. You know what I mean? But
maybe the bulbs don't store as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I grow
even we're mentioning Charlie Dowden. Even he has a problem with rust with his garlic. You know what I mean? So
that could just be the weather conditions you guys have.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I don't think them potatoes had blight. You know, when I said I had 2 buckets, I don't think that was blight. I think it might have been a thing called brown spot.
Well, this brown spot, and the other thing, I'd only read it after you harvested them, Tony, because I think Hannah had put a thing on at the weekend there about tomatoes as well. They had little brown spots on the leaves.
Right.
Yes.
And apparently, if there's a magnesium deficiency, you can get little brown spots on potato leaves and tomato leaves. So I think if you use, CalMag is the one that I think we both use, but you can use Epsom salts as well.
Right.
I think a bit of Epsom salts, get them a bit of a feed with that, and I think they'll recover, allegedly.
Well, they're only because I pulled them early, the potatoes, but they were lovely, because it was in composty soil. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't in
brilliant.
There was no scabs. They were like clean as a whistle. And we took them up to that airship, and we had them cooked in that airship. You know,
nice. Were they in the buckets, or was that in the ground?
Took them down to Bristol. Sorry, Mark. What was that?
Did you grow them in the ground, or were they in one of the buckets?
They were in the buckets.
In the buckets.
There were 2. There was like 4 Charlotte potatoes.
Aye.
And they were just little. Do you know what I mean? They were just the kind of that size, but there was first time where they've been lovely and clean. Do you know what I mean? Just like
you're not growing potatoes this year, are you?
Well, I am. I've got them next week. Do you know where? I call it Big Nasty Bed. They're in that one. So I'm hoping I can just pick them with my hands, not on my hands and knees and kind of, I'm just hoping.
Okay, that's the big one on the left when you go in your...
Yes.
Where you had the corn last year.
Yes, it's near there. It's near
that's
the
some knowledge
bin.
you've got there, Audrey. That's impressive.
Oh, hey.
Oh, I could tell all of you I could get around your allotment, both of you pretty well. I have I'm more of a visual thinker, so I have like a map in my head.
If ever you need to escape from prison, Audrey's the
you want
person
me on
for
your
that.
team.
There you go.
I don't move too fast, but I will tell you which way to go.
Well, listen, it's Apple's big event tonight. And that's my kind of. My wife's letting us watch it on the main telly. And I'm getting my tea made for us as well.
Wow. Living the dream.
Living the dream. Cross the line, living the dream. Lovely wife.
You got your credit card out?
I'm not, Audrey, I'm not going to. This is more software, but it's going to be fantastic, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm so excited for it. Audrey, where can we find you?
Real Food Comes Dirty, YouTube, Instagram.com.
Right. Have we had
somewhere in Metro Detroit?
Somewhere, yes, somewhere. And have we got a video out anyone can watch? Is there something we're going?
I have 3 that I need to do, like 10 more minutes on each one.
Right.
Tell me why I did that. Don't. I have no idea. If you could tell me, I will. So yeah, I have several actually that are in production.
Right. Right. Mark, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on Mark Slotman Plot on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
And there will be a rhubarb cordial video
appearing very soon. You'll be amazed at how quickly that appears.
the headphones are off, the pan's on. Well, listen, everyone, big thank you for turning up again. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Look after yourselves.
Have a great one.
Bye-bye.